Emergency response to this tragedy was brought under a microscope. There was another element that we really wanted to focus on here. The question, is our infrastructure prepared for a changing and wetter climate?
Yeah, it's something that we're committed to covering every single day. WUSA 9 environmental reporter Scott Broom joins us now with a look at the efforts made to reduce the risk of flooding. Scott?
Well, listen, flash flooding in the district and throughout the region is amplified by climate change. This incident a year ago today here at District Dogs is probably a pretty good example of that. The amount of rain that came down and the fact the drainage system under the street here couldn't handle it. Interesting that just 6 weeks after the tragedy here, these new drains went into service. They are connected to the biggest underground infrastructure project in D.C. since the metro was built, but it's underground and not a lot of people know about it. It's called the Northeast Boundary Tunnel. It was constructed to capture stormwater and sewage surges during big storms to prevent that from spilling into the Anacostia River. But there is a side benefit, which is that these drains were engineered with some additional capacity. Remind you, this was primarily a pollution control project, but there were some stormwater benefits that go into that project. I talked today with John Lyle of DC Water. Here's part of our conversation as he explained this incredible tunnel project underground.
The primary purpose of those tunnels is for pollution control, to capture combined sewer overflows and prevent them from going into the rivers. But a secondary purpose of the Northeast Boundary Tunnel is to also help mitigate flooding. That tunnel, the Northeast Boundary Tunnel that is now in operation, is capable of storing 90 million gallons of additional combined sewage, in addition to the 100 million gallons that's already in operation. So what happens is that the tunnel system, with this added capacity, is able to capture all of that flow and store it, and then convey it to Blue Plains where it's treated, and then return to the Potomac River much cleaner than it was received. So that is just the added capacity of the tunnel system helps with mitigating the flooding. When the sewer system fills up and is not able to take any more stormwater off of the streets, then that's when you start to see backups and some localized flooding. And so we are confident that the tunnel system is going to help mitigate that issue. It's going to reduce the risk of flooding. It will not entirely eliminate it because it's really impossible to spend your way out of that problem altogether.
So an important qualifier there from John Lyle of DC Water as we had that conversation. The improvements that have been made here are by no means a guarantee that it's not going to flood again at some point under some conditions here at this Rhode Island Avenue location. It's flooded many times in the past, but it does appear that this underground tunnel, 5.1 miles long, nearly $600 million, more than a $500 million project, has had some effect. Broadly, it's had an incredible effect on the Anacostia River since it went into service, which unfortunately was about 6 weeks after the tragedy here on Rhode Island Avenue at District Dogs. But regardless, since it went into service, it has captured more than 90%, check that, 98% of the raw sewage that would have spilled into the Anacostia River in that time. It's captured a lot of nasty stormwater, a lot of litter, and a lot of raw sewage. It does appear to be a public works project that is working, and hopefully this drain system here is going to prevent future tragedies, or at least mitigate them so that they're not so bad into the future.
Scott.
Reporting live on Rhode Island Avenue, Scott Broom, WUSA 9.
That was the silver lining. That was exactly what we needed to round out our coverage of such a really tough story
This
today.
has been difficult, to say the least.
Scott, thank you.
You can watch all of our coverage on the District Dogs tragedy on our website. That's WUSA9.com, and all of our WUSA 9 streaming platforms as well.